I'm Ron Drotos from KeyboardImprov.com, and welcome to day 8 of my 31-day Jazz Piano for Beginners Workout Challenge. Yes, we are going for fluency. You're doing the right thing by working within what we can actually do and jamming. You know, that's how I started, playing over one chord in a high school rock band, whether it was with a rock beat or sometimes sort of a jazz fusion-y thing, and occasionally straight ahead. And then just jamming with my friends, and sometimes on one chord. You know, that's doable. It's something that gets us playing in an easy way, right? Piano playing. Sometimes if it's not too hard for us, we don't think we're working hard enough. But that's absolutely not true. That's the 10, 20, 30%, right? We're going for 70% just jamming, having fun using it, and that's really what everybody who's ever really learned jazz has done at some time. And it's great to do it at the beginning. It's actually best to do it starting at the beginning and then forever. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. And let's work on our jazz rhythm again. We did this a little bit early on in the series, and it's paramount, and it's what's lost in most of, especially at the beginning intermediate stages in jazz piano study. Getting a sense of rhythm. Jazz rhythm is satisfying on its own, independent of the notes. How about that one? So that's why percussionists and drummers love it so much, right? And they get good at it because they work on things. So what we're going to do, we're just going to keep a steady beat with our hands clapping. One, or you could just tap on something, tabletop, piano, or your knees. And we're just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, until it becomes so easy and we don't speed up. 3, 4, 1. Just sit back into the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now we're just going to say 1, 1, 1, 1. One more time. 1. Now we're going to say it on beat 2. So that's 1, 2. 2, 2. You have to feel the 1 in your head. 2. Now we're going to do 3. So it's 3, 3. Don't speed up. 1, 3, 3. Now we're going to do 4, 4, 4, 4. 4. In some contexts, it can be hard to feel where a certain beat is. There was a story I read on the internet about a bass player who was playing with Dizzy Gillespie, and he only had one note to play in each measure in some fancy Afro-Cuban kind of rhythm. And he was on stage in a concert, and he couldn't find the beat with Dizzy Gillespie. And Dizzy knew. And Dizzy was having fun because he wasn't helping him. He was just watching him and kind of laughing, I guess. And I don't know. But he couldn't find the one. He couldn't find the one, you know? So that can happen sometimes. So the better grounding we have, the more likely it is we'll know where the beat is. All right, let's do the same thing. And we're going to say ta on beat 1. Ready, go. Ta. 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 Just relaxed. Ta. One more time. Ta. Good. Now, we're going to add a second ta in each measure. It's going to be between 2 and 3. It's going to be on the and of 2. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, 4. Say that with me. 1, 2, and 3, 4. With the swing rhythm, it would be like 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. We can even, but let's not clap the and. Let's just go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So we're feeling two sort of pulses at the same, or one pulse, but we're feeling two rhythms at the same time. We're feeling this underlying steady rhythm, this pulse, and then we're feeling something superimposed on top. Bum, bum, ta, ta. Let's do that. Ta, 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 till it feels natural. Ta, 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 ta. And feel it in your body. Ta, ta. Good. Ta, ta. Ta, ta. Ta, ta. Good. That rhythm is the beginning of a Latin American, South American clave rhythm, which is ba, da, 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 da. It's the first part. It's ba, 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 ba. And sometimes with clave, it's straight eighth notes. We're doing it swing. That was the rhythm that, as far as I can tell, was the catalyst towards the beginnings of jazz and much of the music in the pop world and R&B and blues and everything, because it's the Charleston rhythm. It's bum, bum, it's which was the Charleston dance craze in the 20s. That is the rhythm that was the beginnings of jazz. And also, even in a Latin music context, that was part of jazz too, because Jelly Roll Morton, one of the inventors of jazz, said that jazz had to have Latin music, in his opinion, or it wasn't even jazz. So that clave rhythm, and specifically the first two rhythms of it, were really the catalyst to the beginnings of jazz. And you still hear it. You hear it in pop music all the time when you go. Right? You hear it in contemporary pop music, you hear it in jazz, you hear it in everything. When you hear that's the Charleston. Bum, bum, bum. You can hear it in the rhythms. Bum, ba, bum. See? 1, 2, and. Right? It's in everywhere. It's in bebop. It's everywhere. So the better we can know the Charleston rhythm, the better we will play jazz and the better our rhythm will be. So let's look at the chord progression we looked at yesterday, which was the famous 2-5-1. And we're going to start on the 2 today, the D minor 7. And we're just going to start playing this Charleston rhythm with our left hand, just with a very relaxed wrist and a little bit of a shock absorber here. We're going to go bum, 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 bum. And you can even say bum, bum, or ta, 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 if it helps. Ta, ta. So just join me on the D minor 7. Bum, 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 until it feels really natural. Keep going. Left hand. Now let's do it with our right hand on D minor 7. 1, a little slower. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Bum. So jazz rhythm is generally more flexible than that. You'll play it, and then you'll play something else. But for now, let's really get to know this Charleston rhythm really well. So let's try it different ways. Let's, with our right hand, improvise with the white notes, right? Because this is the 2 chord in C, so we're still in the underlying key of C. And we're going to do what I did. We're going to play the Charleston rhythm. Just like that. 1, right hand only. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. let's play our left hand and just keep it held down and play it every once in a while we play that Charleston rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Improvising over that 2 chord, the D minor 7. Take your left hand and move it to G7, G, B, D, F, and really look at the notes. You may already know this, but we're going to get back to the rhythm. But if you don't know this yet, this G is the root, right? The B is the 3rd, the D is the 5th, the F is the 7th. So if we keep the G and the B where they are, but we move the D and the F down an octave, we get a second inversion G7, right? So from the bottom, it's D, F, G, B. Just play that. D, F, G, B. Yeah. That can be handy, no pun intended, handy, if we're moving from a D minor 7 to that G7. We can just move the top 2 notes down 1 step. Try that a few times. The F and the D stay the same at the bottom. Right? But the A and the C move down to G and B. So for today, we're going to use this voicing, this inversion for the G7. You can also use root position if you want to keep moving. I think root position is underrated, especially in the beginning, because it really teaches you where that root is. And for other styles later on, when you're moving your hand around, you want to know where those roots are. So I don't mind if you do root position for these 31 days. I would actually kind of encourage that, but I know a lot of people already know the inversions and you want to play them. But root position, make sure you know root position. Don't go on to other voicings, rootless voicings especially, until you know these 7th chords in all inversions, and that's why we're doing this. We're going to get to know these. So we have G7. And let's do the same thing. Let's get to know this voicing by playing the Charleston in the left hand. Bum, bum, bum. Can you tap with the right hand? I don't know. Keep going. Now with your right hand with that voicing. So it's D, F, G, B. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's do it really slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dig into it. Thing happened there with my playing. I was playing the walking bass line and I got up to here, which is a little high for a walking bass line. And I said, I'm going to go higher just to hear what it sounds like. Okay, it's okay to get light like that. The bass player gets way high. Boo, 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 right? So I'm still experimenting and trying new things, and each time it's a little different. It strikes us a little different. It lands on our ears a little different. The piano's a little different every day, right? Depending on the humidity, the sound's just slightly different. So the note might be the same, but it's almost like a river, you know? The water is not the same. The actual drops of water are always different, but it's the same river. So music's like that too. The sound is different, you know? Each day, or at least we take it differently because we feel differently. Let's try that. We're going to hold the left hand voicing and improvise again. This is the 5 chord in C, so we're playing underlying C scale, and we'll just improvise with the Charleston rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we did the D minor 7 2 chord. Let's play that with our left hand. We played the G7 5 chord, either root position or inversion. And now, if we're on this inversion, we can just move the bottom 2 notes down, and we have a C major 7 chord. So just do that a few times. You have D, F, G, B, and now we have C, E, G, B. Let's do all 3. D minor 7. G7, and root position is fine. C major 7. That's the 2-5-1. And the 2-5-1, as we talked about yesterday, is part of this functional harmony in that it goes around. If you just play a D, go up a 4th, it's a G, and then C, it goes up around the circle of 4th. And the circle of 4th is a very forward motion, forward moving chord progression. We feel like we're going somewhere, and then, yes, at the end it pulls us back home. So it's a way to start on this treadmill going back home. That's why the 2-5-1 is so big. And Bach used it too. Here's 1, 2, it's even a minor 7th. 5, 7, 1, 1. And he didn't use a major 7 there, but he did in a lot of places. What is it? Major 7ths. A lot of 7th chords in that piece. But 2-5-1, 2-5-1. So Bach knew this, and that's why a lot of jazz musicians love Bach. All right, let's do all of the 2-5-1. We're going to do the 2 chord for, let's do 4 measures. 4 measures of G7, and then we'll do, let's just do 4 measures of C major 7. It'll be a 12 measure cycle. And you can play any rhythms in the right hand. You can do the Charleston if you want, or you can just let that go for now and just play anything. Or you can play a little bit of a Charleston and then something else, whatever you want. It's good to work on these 2 levels at once, very strict, and then also just let it be absorbed. So D minor 7 in your left hand, and then we'll improvise in the right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. G7, C major 7. You can just do one hand if you want. Here's D minor. G. C. Just the left hand. G. C. D. G. C. Now just the right hand, just the right hand. C. Yeah. So does a bossa nova. So we'll do just one measure of D, and we'll just play the chords for now. One measure of D minor, one measure of G7, and then two measures of C major 7 to make a 4-measure phrase. So just with the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just figure out some rhythms or listen. You know what? We're going to continue that next time. So we have hey, congratulations. We have a good start now with the 251, a really solid start, possibly better than you've ever had before, even if you've been practicing these, because it's very practical. Also, by combining them with a rhythmic study like that, it makes it less dry, right? Because it's sort of like we're sort of fooling ourselves a little bit in a good way, or tricking ourselves into learning it. Because you learn the voicing, and then you start, okay, I got to do this Charleston rhythm, and your left hand kind of it has to use some muscle memory, because you can't focus on it 100%. So it's transferring this sort of theoretical knowledge to muscle memory very quickly. That's the point of this too. So we're working on many levels with this. Thanks for being here. I'm delighted. I'm having a great time making these, and we're on the track to really getting fluent with jazz piano. And like I said, you know, some people watching this, you may have made more progress in these 7, 8 days than you have in years. And that's what makes me feel great when I hear things like that. So thank you. And there's some links to click if you're interested. And I'll see you tomorrow.